I'm interested in a question that is on a lot of people's minds if you're in AI, if you're in technology at all, which is OpenAI killing everything? And I thought that these memes or things would be hard to find. All I needed to do was do a simple Google search. OpenAI just killed another bunch of startups. It's an extinction event for other AI startups, and pouring one out for all the GPT wrappers that got killed today. How it feels to center a silly little div minutes before OpenAI decimates your silly startup. AI wrappers, no moat, no money, memes of Sam Daddy, and one of my favorite meme classics, I can't kill your startup if you haven't started yet. It's fascinating. There's a couple contextual things that are relevant for me here. First of all, I have a company called Speak AI. I've been working on natural language processing, sentiment analysis, named entity recognition, how to deal with extracting value from unstructured language data for many years, something I'm passionate about. I've invested a lot of time and energy into. And so there's that disclaimer here as I go through this video. And I think there's an interesting component to anyone who feeling that their future could be impacted in some way. The other disclaimer would be that overall, I am a fan of OpenAI. We've integrated their technology into our platform at Speak AI. They, in some ways, solve problems that I had been seeking to solve for a long time. We did not anticipate it happening so quickly. We heard about transformers and the paper, attention is all you need. And maybe we just weren't in the right circles. We weren't in the right spot, but that just didn't pierce our focus on the techniques of how we can derive insights from language data. Saying that, I think OpenAI has done an incredible job with this technology, and it's actually a breakthrough that professionally and in a company and business context creates immense value, and also in a personal context. One of the reasons why I first started Speak AI had a bit of a personal lean to it, where I was trying to extract insights from my Evernote notes that I had been documenting for years, and at some points through very difficult periods in my life. And I thought there was a lot of interesting insights and knowledge in there that may help me learn more things about myself so I could be better in the future. And the way that I was doing that previously was all these techniques to extract things and then try to interpret the data and put those insights together. And so when OpenAI and transformers and large language models and generative AI came, I thought it was a very exciting time, and it solved a lot of the problems that I had been technically trying to solve. When I look at these notes or these pages, what's fascinating is that there's different timelines for when this was released, or it's been a systematic messaging that has come out. So August 29, I saw one in July, and then we're obviously starting to see more and more populate, some really significant ones with their upload PDF functionality, which there was chat with PDF and all of these things. And then with the recent OpenAI DevDay, there was a lot more other big releases that were valuable. And I've got a couple articles. I'll include links in the video if you're interested in checking it out. And these are significant from a dev perspective, a consumer perspective, and in a business context. And so that should not be understated, that these are huge advancements. At the end, Sam, calling him by his first name as if I know him, said, what I'm sharing here now will seem quaint by the time we do this next year. So whatever that confidence is to make that statement, there are huge changes that are coming that maybe make what they're doing quaint, minuscule today. So I think the future is looking very interesting when we consider this. Now, the question that I'm seeking to address or trying to figure out is, are these statements true? What is going on here? What is the context? What is the purpose of this messaging? Some people are coming from startup land, and one of the funny memes was, hey, I got invited to OpenAI DevDay just to be told that they're destroying my startup to my face. So that was one of the messages. So again, there's fear, there's unknowns for people who are interested in technology, building companies. But then there's the other messaging that's coming down, and there's some poops and giggles here that some of these investors are doing, but there's some serious messages around this too. So Matt Turk, one of the very funny investor, loves publishing memes. They've got this big landscape for ML AI data. We had the previous landscape, which is completely populated, convoluted, hard to understand. And then we've got the future, which is just OpenAI. There is no more competition. And so This is a little bit of a meme or a joke version. There's truth behind this. There's truth behind this perspective, way that people are thinking about this. It's a difficult investment environment considering interest rates and everything that's going. Investors specifically, if going the venture capital route, want to invest in winning companies, and identified mostly have been OpenAI, Anthropic, Cohere, Inflection, and I know I'm missing other ones, Midjourney, apparently 200 million ARR, but most of these other companies are going to have blurry value propositions, unable to raise the funding that's necessary, and really struggle to execute over the next few years with such a dynamic technology environment. Personally, I've never been part of a market like this, which has been dominated so quickly. OpenAI started in 2015 with an incredible group of talent already, but was relatively silent until 2022. People were very early adopters who were using GPT-3, and that rush, that momentum that they've built, that quick execution speed, and then a core technology that is very valuable. I've never really seen all of those things come together in a macro movement to see dominance in a market. Dominance from a technology perspective, but also just word of mouth. And I think that's going to be a very difficult thing to compete with, even for great companies like Anthropic and other ones. We saw Anthropic with Claude, 100,000 tokens. That was one of the value propositions there, destroyed by OpenAI with 128 token context window. Of course, they had to outdo them there. Lots of companies who are helping with AI agents or bots that manage that process for you and allow you to do that. And in DevDay, they showed, hey, you can do this in seconds without any needing to code. So attacking that. And I think there is a lot of questions right now. What does the future look like? Where do we go? I think investors are unsure where to put money. I think companies are unsure what decisions to make, because do they just default to OpenAI for everything because they're just a clear winner? Or is there going to be other companies that emerge? And so where should they allocate their budget? There's messaging about OpenAI's custom models, and you have to acknowledge that it may take months to train and be $2 to $3 million. So I think there is a lot up in the air right now, but I also am concerned about this messaging. I've got a good friend here with the same messaging. After Halloween, we have the Day of the Dead. So if you're building a company, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to just lay down and die? Do you just join OpenAI? I'm guessing most people who are working in that space don't have the talent to join that team. I'm sure they're maybe not that interested. I'm sure there's a percentage who are, but a lot of people aren't. Sam Altman actually warned Y Combinator companies at an alumni event, hey, if you're building some sort of wrapper or something, we already know the problems here. We're going to decimate those problems. We're already actively working on it. We've probably solved a bunch of them. So if you're building that, don't. It's not worth your while, and it's not the best use of your time. It's not the best use of your investors' time, and there's going to be a lot of challenges ahead for you here. Really, I have no conclusions in this video today. I just want to understand the questioning around it. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Did OpenAI just kill every startup? If yes, what should startups working in this space do? What should people who are working in this space do? If no, what do you think are the opportunities that are actually valuable here? Are there any? Are people who are continuing to work, are they disillusioned? Are they ignoring the truth? Are they dumb? They should just give up? Do they go and become a laborer? Do they completely switch industry that they're working on, the vertical that they're on? Is that vertical that they might go to going to be similarly impacted? Is climate tech protected from OpenAI and advancements in AI? This person went as far as calling out the companies that were dead after this dev day and said, hey, it's satire. Companies don't get obliterated overnight. But I think there's a lot of people taking this very seriously. And again, even if he's saying that this is satire, that there's some truth in here that is piercing people very deeply. And a lot of people who are in this space, they're passionate about it. They're ambitious. They see it as a way to solve complex problems. And if you take that many ambitious people who are working on something with passion and displace them, I think there will be challenges. And there's a greater discussion about this, not only from people who are building tech and in the industry, but people who are going to be impacted by this, whether they're in it or not. And that's going to happen. We've seen tasks that were previously unthinkable to be done are done instantly. And so while there is a subsegment of people here who are impacted by this because they're working in the space, there's a huge segment of the population who will be impacted by the deployment in this technology. I do think there is an interesting technology component to this, similar to the Amazon marketplace, where they are now monitoring usage. Currently, they're doing that through APIs and saying, hey, what functionalities are driving the most growth? And they know your email domain, they know your account details, they know the usage of your API. If they see it just spike up and rocket up in usage, why would they not want to take a look at seeing what's going on here? Why is this being used so much? And if this becomes popular and they can see that you're generating value and potentially revenue off it, they just push that functionality into their platform. It's the logical thing to do if you are in that dominant place. And I think we're going to see relatively the same thing here with this store where anyone can create this GPT in moments and then share it with the world. And what's fascinating, I find too, is that these are not just possibly small little startups. These could be significant startups with tens of millions, even more in funding. I think core infrastructure companies are doing incredible work and are going to find pathways because of the momentum that they have and the technical talent and team. I do think there is a large portion who don't have those qualities and will continue to struggle. This multi-pronged approach by them to take on enterprise, dev, and consumer is a difficult thing. And maybe they're a company who has a chance to do all three. But I think within that diluted focus, there will be execution by some very talented people to create value where not all the problems are being solved. OpenAI is still with their own problems. So there's problems relying just on them. They were down today as of recording this. I think overall, just a very dark sentiment that is taking over that I'm interested in exploring, obviously, while I'm recording this, and interested to see how it plays out over what looks to be a pretty wild next few years. I hope to see more than this. I hope to see better responses from people working in this space, more optimism overall. I don't always have that myself, but I think there's a lot of challenges if we continue with this mindset. It reminds me to a similar mindset of interest rates rising, where with that mentality, then the spend starts to slow down. All of that starts to take place. I think the same thing happens with OpenAI is just going to kill your marketplace. And that messaging is actually preventing people from entering, trying things, experimenting. I think it's a detrimental message to people who might have taken a risk and done something, and just tell them, don't do it. Stay put. Don't. It's not going to work out. They're going to destroy you. I think that's a dark message for humanity. My camera is dying. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe this is all just a metaphor. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts, whether you're a builder in the space, whether you're just someone interested in this, you just stumble across this video for some reason. What's going on? Is it true? What's the messaging? Why are investors talking about this? And what does this say about us, our mentality? Okay, this company's figured it all out. It's time for us to just lay down and die.